Hi, and welcome to the If I Speak podcast, another episode for us today. And we're joined by the usual lot, and we've got a very special guest today, Darius. Let's all boo for Darius. Boo, because he's an Arsenal fan, obviously, innit? So, um, yeah. Darius, big up yourself for coming on, man. I know how much of a passionate Arsenal fan you are, and I know how much you want to get out there and stuff. But before we start, fun fact: Darius was on the. I don't know if you guys have seen Premier League Years. I don't know everyone that hosts the Premier League Years. He was. He gave an interview about Arsene Wenger at the end.
Am I on that? I haven't
huh?
seen that. I haven't
Huh?
seen that. I haven't seen it. I'll have to
You
see
haven't
it.
seen it still,
Nah,
really?
I need to watch it.
You smashed it. To
Okay,
be fair, I remember
I'll
you
get on
giving
it.
your speech about Wenger. I could tell you were so sad as
I
well.
love him, man. He's my
Yeah.
guy.
Big up yourself for coming on, man. But
Yeah, thanks for having me.
yeah, if you're new around here, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, Spotify, and Instagram. We're quite active on Instagram. And before we get started today, I just want to give a massive shout out to all the key workers out there doing a sick job for this country and stuff. Trying to keep the deaths down and stuff. And yeah, just shout out to them as well. And I think it seems only right that we go to Darius first. So, Darius, man, how's your season gone so far?
Yeah, so thanks for having me on. Well, it's been a eventful season to say the least. Obviously, when
Same,
did we
bro. Same.
started in September?
Yeah.
After just winning the FA Cup and Community Shield, we were looking all right, to be honest. I thought we were in good shape. I think a lot of us fans were pretty optimistic going into the season, to be honest. I think we won 3 of our first 4 games. First day of the season, 3-0 Fulham. Even Willian was balling. That's how you
Agent
know.
Willian,
That's
Willian,
how.
come on.
Well, we thought we actually got a good deal after he got like 3 assists in his first game or something. But
Yeah.
then it went from like really high to like, yeah, we can maybe even top 4, maybe even challenge for the title. And then from and I think the last one before we went on a really bad run was United. Like we had an unbelievable performance, beat United 1-0 at Old Trafford. And then after that, it just went proper downhill. Like one game after another. We were slowly losing these easy games. Not easy, but like Villa at home, Wolves at home, Burnley at home. It was all these games. Then before you knew it, we were in a much worse situation than I think people made out. But we were in a relegation fight and all that, and Arteta was getting called out, feared that he might lose the job. Obviously, that links to the topic we're going to speak about later today. But thankfully, he didn't. We kind of got our act together. We got that springboard win against Chelsea on Boxing Day.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, got to slip it in somewhere. That was our first win. That was our first Premier League win since like 1st of November. It was crazy. 26th of December, Boxing Day for Arsenal in the Premier League. It was mad. But since then, we've got, I think, 16 out of 18 points in the Premier League. So we're doing really good with, at the moment, on form anyway. Our problem the whole season's been scoring. Our defence actually hasn't been too bad. I think we've got the joint 3rd best defence in the league according to goals conceded.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. Wow. Because obviously Villa conceded 3 last night. But yeah, thankful for our youngsters that have come through, who have they turned around our season. Smith Rowe and Saka especially, giving us some creativity up front. And yeah, they've been the shine light in a poor season. But all of a sudden, I think we're 9th, joint on points with title challenging Chelsea. So
Again, had to get that in there.
So we're getting there. In terms of going forward, we've actually got quite a difficult run of fixtures starting with United on Saturday. But no, I'm excited. It's nice to see Thomas Partey actually get a few games in because he's been injured for quite a while. And obviously Martin Odegaard as well. I think a lot of people are going to put pressure on him. Yeah, but he's obviously a brilliant prospect. And even if he is only with us for 6 months or so, hopefully we can push on. I don't really, in terms of expectations for the end of the season, I think it's really hard to tell. Like we were just going over how many fixtures teams have got. It's mad. You can get 3 points in 7 days or something. You get 9 points, really moving the table. So I think this season's been really unpredictable. And when the games are coming thick and fast, you either really climb or like we did at the end of last year, just plummeted right to the bottom. So yeah, it's been a strange one, but I think we're kind of coming out of the worst of it. I hope anyway.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Darius. So on to the results that happened for you guys. So you obviously played Southampton twice, didn't you? 1-1, won the Premier League game and lost the FA Cup game. What are your thoughts on both of them? Are you more happier that you've won in the league than FA Cup, or vice versa, or what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it was strange that we had Southampton twice in 4 days away. Personally, I was a bit gutted when we got knocked out on Saturday. I like the FA Cup. We've won it so many times. Maybe we'll give a chance to someone else win it this year. But no, personally, I'd always pride going through the cup rather than 3 points. But Arteta had his reasons. I think he did justify his team selection with that win on Tuesday. If we weren't to win on Tuesday, then it would have been really poor. Because I think he'd made like 7 changes and we weren't good at all on Saturday. Deserved to go out. People like Willian, all these experienced players that are meant to be the ones that are actually good. They're just not doing anything for us. Yeah, and then we bring in the youngsters on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Partey was brilliant. Like, he just elevates the game of, say, Shaq or anyone who plays with him. It makes an average player into a good player just because I really think he's top draw. But yeah, much improved, much needed win. So yeah, it justified the team selection, and we're actually scoring some goals now. So it's getting better. So yeah, I'm happy we got the 3 points.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Cheers for that. And on to the rest of you lot now. So Abhinav, to start with you. So you played you played Man United. Lost that game. And you played Burnley, and you lost that game as well. I'll leave the platform to you, bro. Go for it.
Yeah, I'll talk about Burnley. I mean, I went into Burnley saying, I think in the last podcast, that it's going to be Burnley against Burnley, and that's exactly what happened. I'm not surprised, to be honest. Every game has been the same thing for the last month. It's just been 0-0s. We're not creating any chances. We have more of the ball. We're playing, but we're not creating anything with that. Or like the teams that are playing away against us, they're creating more chances than us. And yeah, so that's exactly what happened at Burnley. A lot of people are saying, we had more of the ball and things like that. But if you don't score a goal, it's worth nothing. So I think credit to Burnley. They had a game plan. They stuck to it. They got a penalty. It was soft, but it's a penalty, and they converted it. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. What about the cup game against Man U? Do you think that was an opportunity for you guys missed, or?
Yeah, definitely. Like the way our league run's going, I was kind of looking forward to the cups, like an FA Cup, maybe something different. That didn't happen. We got knocked out. Credit to Bruno Fernandes. I think I was looking forward to that because we put out a strong lineup, so I was expecting us to really have a go. But yeah, I guess I can take a positive from that because we scored 2 goals. It's more than anything we've done in the past few games. So I guess the only thing realistically, we have to take it step by step. That's a goal. That's more than anything we've done before. So I'll take a few goals and we'll see for the next few games. It was a poor game, to be honest. I mean, it was a good game for a neutral, but the goals we're conceding, putting Reece Williams on the spot like that.
Yeah,
I don't think we should have started him.
To be honest, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, we really didn't have any choice like with the options we had. So yeah. The thing is, I don't put any blame on him. That's more on the owners not investing. Like, because they didn't invest, they put a kid under pressure like that, and it's obviously going to show. Like, so, yeah, no pressure to him. Like he did everything he could. That's his experience showing.
That's fair enough. Yeah, cheers for that, Abhinav. So on to Nandu now. So Spurs, you guys played Wickham in the FA Cup, I believe. You won 4-1.
Yeah.
And then, did you play anyone in the Prem before that, or?
Nah, that was the only.
Nah, so just Wickham. Yeah. So, give me your thoughts on Wickham, man. How do you feel about that?
Credit to Wickham, they gave us a pretty good game first half.
Yeah.
We were probably struggling for momentum until we scored the first goal, but after that, we obviously had to bring on the likes of Kane and Son just to finish the game off. And then after that, 2 quick goals, and then the game was over pretty much.
Well, thank God you didn't say the N word.
And the baller.
Yeah.
I don't say much about him anymore, man.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't see any of the goals, but I heard he scored some good goals and stuff. But yeah, he's done sick this season, to be fair. Yeah. And going forward in the FA Cup, is this a trophy where you're you feel serious about it. You want to win this trophy.
At this point, any trophy has to be serious for us. It just like even
Obviously.
if it's a Carabao Cup, it just
Yeah,
gives us
fair enough,
momentum
yeah.
to go into the next season and hopefully go for a bigger trophy like the FA Cup or even anything in Europe.
Yeah, that's fair enough, man. Yeah, so on to Kunal now. So mixed emotions for you, obviously. Beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. Your cup run still goes on, but you lost yesterday to Sheffield United, didn't you? Yesterday. Give me your thoughts on either game, whichever one you want to start first.
Yeah, so I'll start with Liverpool first because that was the game before the Sheffield game. It happened
Yeah.
earlier. So going into that game and looking at the lineups, I thought that Klopp really wanted to win that game because in the preview, like we said before, that we don't know what Klopp will do, and probably what he's going to do is just throw the cup away. But he didn't do that, and he wanted to win that game. So getting a win that day made me really happy and made a lot of United fans really happy in a way that we beat Liverpool when they wanted to win rather than just throwing the cup away and putting out a weak squad. And yes, I know that Liverpool have had injuries. They are in the middle of an injury crisis, to be honest, and they don't have basically they don't have any available centre backs, to be honest. So even after that, their attack is really good, and the way Klopp sets up his teams, he is literally the best manager in the Premier League at the moment. Not at the moment, he has been for the past 2 seasons. So just looking at that, it was really good to get a win that day, and just like Abhinav said earlier, a really good game from a neutral perspective, but an even better game from a United fan's perspective.
Yeah.
And looking at the game yesterday, don't even ask me about it. I mean, seriously, it was a really, really shitty game. First of all,
Really?
all he put out a really,
Yeah.
all he put out a really strong squad, which I thought that he should have rested some players because it was Sheffield and they're bottom the league, and you shouldn't put out such a strong squad out against Sheffield. But then they turned up, didn't they? And we didn't. So just a very bad feeling from yesterday, to be honest. And we shouldn't have lost that game, but we did. And just like we have done since Ollie has come in, we go on a big run, and then one of these games come and derails our whole season. So I just hope this isn't that, and we can actually take this like a punch to the gut and bounce back.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you still believe you're in the title race? I know, obviously mathematically you're still in the title race, but do you think that you can bounce back from this and go further?
Like since day one, you guys know that I've always told you that I don't think United are title contenders. I've always said that I think City will win the league, but on the Insta Live the other day, I said that United have a chance to finish second in the league, which would be like the highest since Mourinho. And Mourinho was on in second, like 15 points apart. So we could have been more closer to the title. But looking at yesterday's results, if these kinds of things keep happening, I don't think that we'll finish second. But I see us getting a top 4 finish easily.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. That's cool.
What about you, Dharmesh? You had your cup game against Luton and Tuchel's first game. So what are your thoughts on that?
Right. Okay. To start off with, shout out to the legend here and my background. Yeah. We're gonna talk about him later on. Obviously, the main bit of the podcast. But yeah. Luton. What can I say? Yeah. Decent game for us. Got the win. Sadly, it was Lampard's last game as Chelsea manager. But yeah, going ahead and stuff. Think we can go far in the FA Cup as well. That might be a competition we might look to take seriously. Still in the Champions League, obviously. It was good because we gave a few of the youngsters a start, like Billy Gilmore, who was superb against Luton. I still think he should be in the starting 11 like now because of the qualities he possesses and stuff. And yeah, it was just a good win in general. Routine really. It was simple, no stress really, except for Capo as well, man. I was literally saying to one of my uni mates the other day, I was like, you can stay around my house back in back in London near Heathrow. You can stay around my house. I'll drop him off to the Heathrow airport, and I'm like, I don't want a refund for you. Just go. Like, this keeper is he's the worst keeper ever. And guess how much we paid as well? We paid 75 million for that guy as well. And it's like, all of you guys got better keepers than us. Like, even the under 10s have a better keeper for Chelsea than Kepa, man. He's just awful, man. But that's the only negative really about Sunday. And yeah, going into yesterday's game against Wolves, bit of a boring game to be honest. Had a couple of chances. Chilwell had a chance. Hudson-Odoi whipped in a good cross for Giroud. Should have scored really, but it's quite hard to read into Tuchel's first game in a sense because he's new. Obviously, he's only been with the team for 24 hours, so he's only picked players based on what you've seen in training. But Jorginho wasn't that great yesterday. I felt Havertz was all right to be fair, but he almost scored at the end, obviously as well. Like it hit Abraham because Abraham got in the way. But to be honest, I don't really know what to make of it in a sense because it's one game and stuff. The true test will be on Sunday against Burnley and stuff. See if we can break teams down because that's what we struggle to do. Like there's so many times where I think Abhinav, you mentioned it, where Havertz and Ziyech are just in the same position every time. It's just so annoying to see. But yeah, I think that just comes with the team gelling and stuff. So I thought Azpilicueta was poor yesterday as well. Wasn't that great. Reece James has to be our starting right back. But on that basis, yeah, it's not the best result, but results kind of went in our favour as well. And then obviously the Spurs-Liverpool game might go in our favour as well. So yeah, that's looking on Chelsea. And right, now that we've covered the results and stuff, we're going to talk about the episode name of this podcast. So is patience a virtue in football managers? So obviously we've come up with this title because of what happened to legend behind me. And I just want to get your guys' thoughts on like your different teams as well and how trusting the process is basically worth it in a sense. So I'll start with Abhinav because obviously you've had success with backing your manager and stuff. So talk about the journey of Klopp basically. Go for it, man.
So we started off in I think 8th place when he came. We were struggling to get results against mid-table teams. Well, we didn't have any direction under Rodgers. I think Rodgers' cycle was coming to an end, so it only made sense to switch, especially after the Stoke game. Klopp came in. There was a lot of expectation, a lot of media coverage on Klopp. I remember the first game against Tottenham, there was like a Klopp cam where there was just a little screen just for Klopp. I think the first season, a lot of people didn't have any expectations. Like Liverpool fans, they just wanted to see their old club back. They just needed a lift basically for the first season. There were no expectations, and I think Klopp did more than that. He got us to a Europa League final, which no one expected, and he got us to a League Cup final. And we didn't win those, but I feel like the thing the Liverpool fans did right is they didn't put pressure on Klopp for losing those finals. They trusted the process. So on to the next season after that, I feel like we did. I think that was a season where we needed to get 76 points or something like that just to get top 4. So I think we did really, really well that season. We were like blowing teams apart, the big teams, but we struggled to beat a low block. So we took a big step forward to get to top 4. The season after, we finished 4th and we got a Champions League run to the final. And I think the important, the reason I'm going through each season is we had a blip in 2017 where I think we dropped down to maybe 7th or 8th. We lost to Tottenham 4-1, and there was a lot of questions on Klopp. And the managers, the owners could have easily said, you know what, maybe this isn't working. We can't see this working. We'll sack him. But we didn't. We stuck by him. And then from that moment onwards, we went on a run. We signed Van Dijk. We went on the Champions League run. We got to the final, secured top 4, and then we haven't really looked back since then. So to answer your question, is patience a virtue? Yes, you need to trust your manager, but the difference is we're trusting Klopp and you're trusting Lampard. The thing about Lampard is he's had 1 year in management, and are you willing? Is an owner willing to trust a manager who's had 1 year with 200 million worth of signings, like we mentioned every single podcast? Like if you look at managers that have been successful over the years, like Ferguson, Wenger, they've had what? I had a look at actually. They've had at least 12 years experience before getting to a top club,
Wow.
like a Man United or Arsenal.
Mm.
So United, Ferguson had he had experience in St Mirren, Aberdeen, and then he that was 12 years, and then he finally got the United job. So say if there are any bumps or like hicks along the way, they know they've got an experienced manager they can trust. Same with Arsene Wenger. 8 years he managed in Nancy, Monaco, in Japan, and then finally got the big move. So I feel like a lot of these managers need to be trusted, but they also need to have the experience to be trusted, is what I'm trying to say. Like if you look at the current managers like Ole, he's had actually the thing about Ole is he's had actually 7 years of experience. So in a way, he does have somewhat of experience. But people like Arteta, who's only been an assistant manager for 4 years, and Lampard, they've only 1 year. So like, yeah, I understand why. Like, I can see the question, like how important patience is. But you have to have the right credentials to earn that patience. And I feel like Abramovich, he's ruthless. He knows what he wants, and I don't think he could trust Lampard with a full project for the next 2 years. He maybe saw what was going to happen. I do feel like he got sacked too early, and they should have waited till the end of the season. But then what happens is he might have gone into Europa League. The financial cost of that, especially during a pandemic, might have hit them. And the thing is, Abramovich has been sacking managers ruthlessly early for years. All the managers over the years, they've only stayed 4 or 3 years max. No one has gone above that. There have been 4 managers that have stayed for 1 year. So for Chelsea, it works. They sack managers when their cycle is not well. They sack managers mid-project, but they're still winning things. So I just feel like that's the Chelsea way.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thanks for that, Abhinav. That's really good points, actually. We'll go on to Darius next. Same question to you, bro. Is patience a virtue in football anymore or not?
Yeah,
thoughts, man?
I think when we talk about managers and sackings, like Abhinav said, it's happened. It's been riddled with Chelsea for so long. Like their success has always been get a manager in 1-2 seasons, win trophies. Even if they win trophies, they're not playing expansive football or not playing well, they still could get the boot. In terms of Arsenal, that's why it was so strange, because obviously we had a manager for 22 years, and for that's about 2 generations worth of fans that have known no better than Wenger. And I feel obviously Wenger out protests and certain fan channels that we could say profited off that. I think that's where it really started, with like this insistence to just chop and change managers. So when Wenger did go, it was a horrible end to 22 years of service. And what I don't like is when it gets more personal, is just far much more abuse than what's warranted, especially after what, say, Wenger did for the club over 2 decades worth. Then obviously we had Emery, and he didn't, less than a season and a half. What Abhinav said about finals is important here again, to be fair, because I think we did trust the process with Emery. From day one, though, we knew there was a communication barrier. I think that was quite detrimental for him as well. I think deep down, he's actually a really good coach, and I'm pretty sure he's doing well with Villarreal at the moment as well. But yeah, he obviously lost that final Europa League final to Chelsea. I mentioned Chelsea, but in a positive note.
2019.
Yeah, I think that I'm normally an ardent supporter of backing your manager and giving them time, but I think to lose the final in that way, even say Klopp lost finals, I think that was embarrassing night. And because that season it wasn't just a trophy for us, the Europa League, we needed that to get Champions League qualification. So I think it was almost inevitable, if he were to get a bad run of form, he was going to get shown the boot. There was things in the dressing room, apparently, players weren't getting along with him. And I think there's links with Lampard as well and many other managers. I think players have too much power these days. If a couple players,
100%.
say Ozil, or I was reading Chelsea, was it Rudiger and Jorginho were almost bad eggs in the camp, and they get a sit, they say, oh yeah, we don't like this gaffer, then it can really pick up. And I think that presence as a manager is kind of lost. And I think that even reflective, you don't really have many managers anymore. Like Arteta now is a manager, but he came in as a first team coach. I'm not sure. I think Lampard was a first team coach as well. I'm not entirely sure. So I think, yeah. So it was strange when he went. I thought he could have had longer Emery, but I also understood it was poor. Like, we haven't been that poor really in modern times. Well, until we went on this run of form just previously of Arteta. Obviously, I think it helped with Arteta a lot that he did win a trophy. That FA Cup, I think, was crucial. So soon, he came in Christmas time and won a trophy the next summer, albeit an FA Cup. The trophy's a trophy. And I also think it helped to have a former player where fans can really get behind, like a legend of the club. They feel an allegiance, whereas say a foreign manager like Emery didn't really have a connection with the club, so we didn't really have that much of an allegiance to support him. But yeah, Arteta could have gone 100%. People were saying Arteta out after a couple losses, and then obviously we went almost 2 months without winning, and he could have been shown the door numerous times. I think, say, if you're at Chelsea, he would have been gone.
100%.
That's why I'm glad, although I don't like our board and our owner, I'm not sure why. They must have trusted the process to an extent and just thought we're eventually going to get out this rut. I do think if we went any longer without getting results, then Arteta would have been in trouble. Because I think we all really want him to be successful as well. That's the thing. And it was sad to see him losing just easy games. And like Abhinav was saying just now about managers like Sir Alex and Wenger had all this experience before getting the job. This was Arteta's first job, to be thrown into a job for the first time, Arsenal Football Club. It's crazy. So a lot of people were saying, yeah, he's out of his depths. But now I think he's proven the doubters wrong, to be honest. 16 out of 18 points since Christmas. I know it hasn't been long, but yeah, I think from day dot, we know that he's a tactical coach. Like, he knows his game very well. Like, he's studied under Pep Guardiola. You'd expect him to know the ins and outs of football. I think for a while he just hasn't had the personnel. You could say there were probably better managers out there that could have done better with the squad we have had, like in the last season or so. But I think gradually now, I think they say 3 or 4 transfer windows, you try and get the squad that you want. There's a massive clear out. There's actually happening at Arsenal now. That's the good thing. The positive thing is that we are actually getting rid of these deadwood players that aren't playing. Our squad's too big. The wage bill's too high. And so long as he gets those players that actually fit into what he wants, and I think that's so crucial of any team, if you just get the players around the system, and then hopefully it's onwards and upwards. So in that sense, patience was a virtue for us, because there were so many times Arteta could have been shown the door. And to have that, I don't want to be in a situation where Chelsea are just like chopping and changing all the time. I don't want that Arsenal if I feel uneasy about it. So for another manager to have come in a couple months ago would have just been so disrupted. I don't really think appointments during the season are very good unless absolutely necessary. So I'm not very sure how Chelsea are going to respond. But yeah, I'm always on the side of give them back. And I'm sure Kinal will go on about Ollie. I was watching that Roy Keane interview, literally it was like last year after they lost to Liverpool, and he was saying give Ollie time, give him a year to see what he does. And obviously I know they had a blip last night, but they're right at the top of the table. So yeah, I think just give them time, to be honest, and let them get their ideas across, and don't just sack a manager like Chelsea always do when you go on a bad run of form.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. Cheers for that, Darius, as well. Made some great points as well. On to Nandu next then. So it's probably a bit weird for you because obviously you had Pochettino for how many years was he at Spurs?
Nearly 4.5 years, I think.
Yeah, about 4.5, 5 years. But obviously you made your players better, but you didn't win anything in the sense, and now Mourinho's in. So yeah, give us your thoughts on is patience a virtue in managers in the modern day?
So going back to the Poch era, I would say that overall that patience was a virtue for us, because I would say that we were pretty much a mid-table club when we appointed him. But like over the period of time that he was at our club, he probably took us from that mid-table club level to a solid Champions League table team. So, but towards the end of his era at the club, I would say that he's slightly lost the dressing room, but you could tell by the way we were playing football that the players weren't up to it anymore, especially towards the 18-19 season. Even though we got to the Champions League final, our football was just bland and it was just terrible. But like even comparing it to the Leicester season where they won the league, the two teams are totally different. That you can't even say they're the same team. Like players like Dele and Ericsson, like completely out of their form. I'll say that overall that every manager has their cycle within the club that I'll say that once you lose the players in the dressing room, that it's just hard for the manager to keep control within the club.
Yeah, and what about Jose then? Because obviously he's a proven winner and stuff. So do you think your fans will be patient with Jose or nah?
I'll say right now that probably when we appointed him, we couldn't do much with our players because it just seems as if every week someone new is getting injured. And so clearly we had to wait until the end of the season to see what we can do with the squad. But obviously during the summer transfer window, we went big. We signed 7 players, which obviously Daniel Levy trusted him to sign players and to bring success to the club.
Yeah.
So right now I'd say that no one has been against him in the dressing room. Probably players like the only player that I would say is against him is Dele, who's looking close to leaving in this transfer window. Apart from that, I'll say that everyone is with him in the club.
Yeah, that's fair enough, man. Cheers for that, Mandu. So on to Kunal now. Is patience a virtue then in the modern football era, or?
Yeah, I mean, it is, to be honest, and I believe that all managers deserve time because it is such a difficult job, and it's a player basically needs to put in good performances every week. That is, they have to be consistent, but then managing 11 players is very difficult, and 11 players on the field, and then you have a squad of around 25-30 players, so keeping everybody happy is really difficult. And the top managers in the past have been able to do that, but now that players have more power than they used to earlier, they just seem to turn on the manager very easily. Just because I think that social media has grown so big in the past few years. It's been so big. Most players, I mean, small players, I believe that a player like Billy Gilmore would have more followers on Instagram than Thomas Tuchel. So
Yeah.
to be honest, it's more about the clubs from the club's perspective. It's more about the brand value rather than the footballing values on the pitch.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for clubs these days, but I believe that like Liverpool have done for the past 4 or 5 years, stuck with Klopp, and he has got them to where they are right now, even though they're not doing really well this season, but that's due to injury. It's not because of Klopp. And with United, I see now that yes, Oli has managed to turn things around. He looks like he is the man for the job. I still don't think that he's the man to get the Premier League title or probably the Champions League, but he's laying the foundation basically, and I believe that every manager deserves a chance to lay their foundations and basically build a squad that they think is the right. Basically having 25 players that they want rather than taking over from a manager and then keeping 10 players or 15 players and selling a few and buying a few, getting like 18 months and then leaving. But when you look at Chelsea, I believe that it is the Chelsea way to basically fire managers really quickly. What Roman Abramovich does is he basically thinks that yes, last season we finished 6th or 8th, we can win the Premier League next season. I think we can win the Premier League. That's his go at it. And the way he spent in the transfer window in the summer, no club in the world did that. Only Chelsea did it. So I believe that he thought that even if he didn't think that Lampard would win the Premier League, he believed that he would be a lot closer to the top than he actually ended up being. So he is a rich man. He loves Chelsea. He wants Chelsea to win, but he can't stand Chelsea being probably out of the top six, and that is why we see Lampard is gone now.
Yeah, no, I hear that, man. So in terms of just one quick question, were you Ollie out when obviously when you had the poor start to the season, and then the way things were in the Champions League as well? Were you very close to getting rid of Ollie, or?
I mean, there were rumors coming out that we had meetings with Pochettino, but then I personally was never Ollie out. I believe that United fans are always very divided. It's always 50-50. It's never like the whole fan base is against Ollie or the whole fan base is with Ollie, just because we have such a massive fan base. And there are a lot of idiotic people in our fan base who basically just want us to win every game, which is not possible. And I mean, all teams have those kind of fans. So I was never Ollie out, and I believe that just wait until May. He has 1 year left on his contract. After that, maybe give him that season as well. Give him the third season. Let's see where he can take us. Because what I have seen with Ollie in the squad is what I've not seen with any previous manager after Alex Ferguson. That is improvement in the squad. You know, David Moyes. We finished 7th that season. He was gone before the season ended. So then Louis van Gaal came in. Yes, he was building something, but then his style of play was very boring, and the fans didn't like it. So basically the fans threw him out of the club more than the owners throwing him out of the club. And then when Mourinho came in, what I believe with Mourinho is that yes, he's a good manager, he's a top manager, and he gets trophies at every club he's been, but he turns on the board and the fans really quickly. So he'll be happy in he can't be happy in a job for more than 18 months to 2 years. And every club he's been to, he gets thrown out. So yes, he might win a few trophies with Tottenham, but he will turn on the fans. And now that there aren't any fans in the stadium, I believe that he can't go crazy about how the fans are not making enough noise in the grounds. But once fans are back in, I believe that Jose Mourinho won't take long to turn on the fans, because once Tottenham are playing, I believe if they're not playing well, the fans will boo Mourinho. And if they are playing well, they will cheer them on, but they will. And what Mourinho doesn't like is any kind of abuse against him, or he feels that he's on top of the world. So we didn't basically want to keep a manager who
let it out.
You see with Mourinho, yeah, at Spurs he knows what he's getting with the board. With United, you're meant to be getting the best players in the world. Are you saying that towards the end of his last season that he got the backing that he actually wanted?
No, but then for the time he was there, he got most of the players that he wanted. He got Ibra, he got Pogba, he got 2 centre backs, and he was still asking for a third one. I mean, we got Victor Lindelof. All right, he's not the best defender, not the best centre back, but then it was his choice. He wanted him. He went to the board and said that I want this guy. Then he went for Eric Bailly. He wanted Eric Bailly. United gave him the players that he wanted, not what they did with Van Gaal or with Moyes. Moyes didn't get any players, to be honest, only Mata and Fellaini. But then not what they did with Van Gaal, where they gave him the players that the board think are right. But Mourinho got the players that he wanted. So he still couldn't do a lot. He was 15 points off the top, and he said that was probably his best season. Yes, it was United's best season if you look at it. But I mean, you don't see it, to be honest, because he's your manager and he's doing really well. But when he signed for United, I was like you. I was really happy that United are getting a proven winner. But I spoke to a Chelsea fan, a really good friend of mine, and he was like, "Don't worry about it. He'll turn on the fans in 2 years, and he'll be out of the club." And that is exactly what happened. So I don't know about Mourinho. I mean, he's just a character and he's box office. But yeah, With Oli, I believe that we should stick with him, and what he's been able to do without getting the proper backing, not a lot of managers would have been able to do with United, and probably he's got this time because he's a legend, and United couldn't throw him out of the job in certain situations, but he has proven that he is taking the club in an upward trajectory, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fair, man. Made some good points there, Kunal. Yeah.
And Dharmesh, back to you. Well, this topic is based around Lampard. So, is patience a virtue for you? And should Lampard have been given more time?
Oh, where do I start? No, I don't, like personally. I think in the modern day, I think maybe just because I'm a Chelsea fan and stuff, I'm saying this, but I don't think patience is a virtue, especially at Chelsea. Maybe other clubs, but especially with us, because what I was thinking about, like over the past few days and stuff, is like, if you're going to sack Lampard, what was the point of bringing him in the first place? We've essentially wasted 2 years. Like, and what have we achieved? We achieved what, top 4? That's about it. And then this season as well, who knows what might have happened with Lampard? We might have regressed, or we might have gone up the table. He could have potentially made us finish top 4. We just never know. And that's the sad thing. I was saying to a few mates during the week and stuff. I'm just like, we'll never know with Lampard now how he would have done in the second season at Chelsea, and that's what the annoying thing is. And like, is patience a virtue at Chelsea? No way. Like, you guys touched on it perfectly. That we're gonna give managers time. And what I'm really pissed off about is the fact that the board brainwashed all of the fans. Like, they promise success. Yeah, fair enough, we get it. We haven't won a trophy since Baku 2019 Europa League. But sorry. Yeah, but it's the fact that we were trying to go in a new direction, and the board basically turned their back. They were like, okay, yeah, we'll look into this insight of a big project by Lampard. We'll give him time and stuff. First season we didn't win anything, got to FA Cup final, finished 4th. It's fair enough, like, we didn't win it, or we finished top 4. But in the sense that the board just turned their back on Lampard, basically. They basically went to square one. They're like, okay, no, historically we've always gone for managers that have done well with short amount of time, and it's gonna be the same with Tuchel as well. Like, none of this is his fault. It's the bloody board it's their fault. Just because the way they operate and stuff, and like, they should hang their heads in shame because the amount of brainwashing they've been doing to the fans and like managers there. I think in terms of Maurizio Sarri, we all knew it was going to end anyway, regardless. Like, so in that sense, it was good for him to leave on that note. Same with Rafa Benitez. Similar things happened. We were unhappy as fans, but got us third and won Europa League. Same thing. Rafa and Sarri. Obviously, Mourinho did sick in this spell, 04-05 and stuff, and recently as well. 13-14 came close to the title, 14-15 as well. We won the league that year. So, and then obviously it went very sour in 15-16 because, like Kunal said, he just had that disproportion of relationship with the fans. So in that sense, I think the board at Chelsea needs to change. But fair enough, if Tuchel wins something, all us fans will be like, "Yay, we won something." Then we'd all understand why he got sacked in the end. But I feel that definitely Lampard should have got more time, just because so we can see what he could have done. Because he got to a final derby. Obviously, he didn't win that, but I get the feeling that Lampard will be back for Chelsea in the coming future and stuff. Say maybe 5 or 10 years and stuff. But yeah, it was just too early for him to go, in my opinion. And realistically, what is going to change at Chelsea at the moment? Like, are we going to play better football? Are we going to get top 4? Like, are we going to challenge for the title next season? Because Tuchel, remember, has to get the best out of these players, something that Lampard couldn't do. So in that sense, I kind of blame the players, and I kind of blame Lampard in the sense as well of how the season's gone, because there's been so many times where Lampard's game management has been absolutely atrocious, but that comes with experience, and he has no experience. Like, look at Gerrard, for example. He's in the SPL with Rangers. They're about to win the league, I think, aren't they? So, how many years has he been at Rangers, by the way?
3 or 4.
Yeah,
3 or 4.
maybe 3.
Yeah,
3 maybe. Yeah.
So he's been there for 3 years, and Lampard has been only managing for 3 years. The transition is wrong. Like, you don't go from Derby to Chelsea. You transition like other managers have, like say Mourinho, like you said, I've been about Fergie and Wenger, and then obviously Oli as well was at 8 different clubs before. But the only person that hasn't, there's been no like previous clubs is Arteta, and like Darius said, like Arteta's like a tactician and stuff. He's worked under Pep. Lampard hasn't worked under anybody, so maybe that's what you should do. Like maybe follow Arteta's steps in a sense, like become assistant manager. Even if you got demoted to assistant manager at Chelsea, like the fans will be cool with that because they can understand in the sense that Lampard's obviously an experience and stuff, but he can gain experience on Thomas Tuchel because let's be real, yeah. Tuchel's won stuff. I don't care whether it's the French league and stuff. He still won silverware. So in that sense, he's experienced, made a Champions League final. Fair enough, didn't win that. He's worked with players like Thiago Silva and Pulisic at Dortmund. So he can get the best out of them, but it's all about time. But the Chelsea board won't listen because it's more of a business than it is connected to the fans. And we just have so much money in that sense to spend, and we won't really progress forward as a club. It's just going to be the same crap every 2 years, essentially. Yeah.
Do you think Lampard got his players too soon? Because I can only speak from Liverpool, but Klopp came in 2015, and then in 2018 we signed Van Dijk, Fabinho, and Alisson, and from then on we were expected to win the league. For Lampard, in his next summer, they signed all the big players, so he kind of had no choice but to be competing for the league, and anything below that wasn't allowed. So do you think it happened too soon for him? And do you think the actual players that they signed, the recruitment was poor? Because if you look at Werner now and the way he's playing, a lot of the players have to take blame too.
Yeah, in that sense, I think the key difference between obviously Van Dijk, Fabinho, and who was the last? Alisson. That's it.
Alisson.
They were kind of in their prime, but these players that we bought, no one's in their prime except for Thiago Silva's a bit old now. He's 35, 36. He's still bossing it for us at the back anyway. Ziyech is in his prime. The rest are young. Like Havertz is only 2021, but I kind of get the sense why we went for these players because obviously we had all that money stacked up from the past, the transfer ban and stuff. Like we felt that we kind of had to get these players in a rush so that obviously the clubs like Spurs, Arsenal, United or Liverpool or City even wouldn't get these players. So in that sense, I kind of get why, but at the same time, I kind of agree with you in the sense that we bought too many. And in that sense, I was like, obviously I was happy that Havertz signed for Chelsea, like amazing, fantastic. He bossed it last year in the Bundesliga, but I was like, why not spend that money, get Oblak in, who's a class keeper, in my opinion, one of the best keepers in the world, or get a centre-back. I'm not sure what centre-backs out there. Obviously, Upamecano is the main one, and Konate and a few others. Why not splash the cash and get a centre-back or a goalkeeper that's ready? Because I tell you what, Mendy's good. I don't think he's De Gea level, Leno level, Lloris or Alisson, but I think he's very average as a keeper. That's just me personally. But yeah, in that sense, I kind of feel that we spent in the wrong areas. Like Havertz is like I said, Havertz is great, but could he use that money elsewhere? So in that sense, yeah. But who knows how it's going to go for Tuchel? Like we don't know. Like he's done well in the past, and we can only back him. Like none of this is his fault, which Chelsea fans won't understand. They'll start to slate him and stuff. Be like, oh, you only want the French league and stuff, which pisses me off so much because it's like it's not his fault. It's the board's fault in that sense. So yeah. So going on to the next part of the podcast, we're going to talk about the upcoming games that are coming up. So obviously we'll leave the big one for later on. So Liverpool play West Ham away, I believe that's right, and Spurs play Brighton. So Nandu, give us your thoughts on Brighton away first.
Brighton away should be ideal and easy win for us, depending on how we play today.
Yeah.
I'd say that to be able to even try and compete with the league, we should be able to win these easy games away from home or even at home. But knowing the way that we play, we're just going to take a 1-0 lead, probably sit back, and then set piece play, someone's gonna score.
Agent
say this-
Lamptey, come on, man.
I mean, I say this every single week now because that's our main weakness. Apart from that, our defensive has been solid.
Yeah,
So-
I'm just looking at the fixtures here as well. I believe Thursday 4th Feb we Chelsea play Spurs away. So what are your thoughts on that?
Do you have another game coming up this week?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. We play Burnley on Sunday. Then we've got Spurs after that during midweek next a week today, or Thursday. What are your thoughts, man?
It'll be interesting to see how Tuchel lands off his team for Burnley, obviously, and then I can't really say much on how you'll line up your team for next week because of how Tuchel would like to play his team. But knowing us, we're just going to play our usual football and see how you lot line up and make some adjustments to it.
What are your score predictions, bro, for Brighton away and Chelsea at home?
Brighton away, I'm going to say 3-1 to us.
3-1, okay.
Yeah.
What, the Chelsea?
Chelsea 2-1 to us.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Okay, on to Abhinav now. You play West Ham on Sunday, I believe, and you have Brighton at home. Jeez, I just realised Brighton have some tough games, man. Yeah, what are your thoughts going to West Ham?
I think a lot of what happens against West Ham and Brighton will depend on how much momentum we bring from the Spurs game. So this is being recorded before the actual game, but provided we win, or if we win and get a really good performance from our attackers, we're strong in defense, then I can see us going on a bit of a run. But if we continue to do the same thing we're doing right now, where we're not creating anything, we're just going to be stuck in the same cycle. And it doesn't look like we're signing any centre backs now, so Klopp will have to work with what he's got.
Yeah.
And I think those few games, West Ham and Brighton, Diogo Jota won't be back for those. So a lot of it's riding on the Spurs game. I feel like if we beat Spurs, we'll be in a good position to push on from there. And we'll have West Ham, Brighton, and then provided we win those games, we'll be back in the top 4 hunt. And then come the City games, and then it's between 7 points between them and City, and then anything can happen.
Yeah, I feel that, man. And also your midweek game against Brighton, do you think you're worried about that game at all? Or give me your predictions for both games.
Okay, so West Ham look dangerous in set pieces. So I feel like with the defense we have now, we'll struggle quite a bit, keeping Souček and Antonio, who's in good form as well. So for the West Ham game, I feel like we might win, but it won't be like a comprehensive victory. I feel like they'll score. For Brighton, I feel like they're a really unlucky team. They've got a good attack.
True,
they're like statistics wise, they're performing well attackingly, defensively, but it's not resulting in it's not giving them results. So I feel like it's only a matter of time before that they start picking up slowly, and hopefully it's not against us. So I feel like Brighton could pose a threat to us, just because we drew against them as well. They're a good team, actually. I rate them. So I feel like for both, I think for the West Ham one, it maybe every time I predict a 2-1, it's always 0-0. So I'm going for 2-1, and then the Brighton one, maybe a 1-0.
1-0. Okay, fair enough, man. And obviously onto the big clash this Saturday. Arsenal play United at 5:30. So I'll start with Darius first. What are your thoughts going into the game, man?
Yeah, I think last night eased some concerns to an extent as well, because I was wary that United are on obviously a great run of form. I know it's probably just a blip, but the momentum they were carrying was quite scary, actually, especially the way, even when they went behind yesterday, I think my dad told me, and I was just like, it doesn't matter, they'll come back. I think they've got 21 points or something this season from losing positions. It's crazy, which shows the character of the team. When Maguire got that header in, I was like, oh, here we go, they're gonna go on and win it now. But yeah, I'll take from it. I'm always optimistic. I think Arteta, Violi, I think they've played twice, Arsenal, United, and we've come on top twice as well. So I'm quite positive in that sense. Obviously, I've said about Thomas Partey already. If he's in the team, he's already balled it against United this season already at Old Trafford. So he'll be key. I think he went off injured, but fingers crossed he's fit.
Ooh.
And the fitness of other players will be crucial as well, because I think Kieran Tierney might not be back. Aubameyang had a personal issue, so I don't think he's going to be back in. But yeah, and Emil Smith-Rowe went off injured as well, so hopefully
damn.
they all
Yeah.
come back. Because if they don't, then we're stuck with Willie at number 10, and like no, there's going to be nothing. But yeah, I don't really fear playing against the big teams. And I don't really mind if we're labelled as underdogs, because I think especially under Arteta, we've thrived off that. It means we can sit back a bit and then counter with our pace. When we got Saka and Pepe on the wings, we can really get at other teams. Our problems this season have been those low block teams, those so-called smaller teams that just put 10 men behind the ball, and we haven't had the players to break them down. So I expect United to come out, play their football. Hope it's an expansive and open game. Hope it's not a dull, like I've said, 0-0. But obviously, I'm realistic. I fear United. I don't think Ollie's a tactical genius, but he's obviously got world-class players, and he's got them playing at the moment. He's obviously got Pogba enjoying his thing. And when you've got players like Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, obviously probably one of the best, if not the best players in the league right now. And Cavani as well. I think he's criminally underrated. He is, just because how old is he? He came in, everyone was like, oh, he's too old.
30 something, I believe, yeah.
He's 33, yeah.
He's class. He's so good. So he's going to be causing nuisance. I guess he'll start, because he didn't start last night, did he? Which I thought was a bit of a shock.
Yeah, he will start, yeah.
Yeah, and you look when Martial is ice cold. I'm not sure about that, but saying that, he's probably going to score now. He's probably going to score now. He'll score against us now. I've said that, but I'm quietly confident. Yeah, going into it, thinking about it yesterday, I would probably said maybe a draw. But after I've seen they obviously have taken an L now, I'll go 2-1 Arsenal. I'm always optimistic.
Fair enough. And just very quickly, give me your thoughts on Wolves away, because that's the next game you have.
They're a tough team, but I watched them a bit last night, and you can see how much they're missing Raul Jimenez, like so much. Who's that striker that young striker that normally plays, like Fabio Silva or something? He's not really looking about it, but Wolves away is always a tough one. I guess it'll be dependent on our performance on Saturday.
Yeah,
if we get a good performance in Saturday, then I'll back us to win. If not, away at Molineux's never easy. I don't think our record's particularly good there either. But I think we won there last year, but before that we've struggled. So it's a tough place to go, and we've got tough fixtures. But I think just take it one at a time. A couple wins would be great, but I'd take 4 points out of the next two games, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, fair, man. Thanks for that, bro. Kunal, how do you feel about the obviously the game on Saturday, Arsenal United? What's your thoughts going into it, bro?
Now that Eric Bailly is injured again because he's made of glass, I think that we'll play on the back foot, to be honest, because like I told you earlier, that Maguire plays well with a pacier centre-back pairing, and Victor Lindelof does not have pace at all, and he's definitely not somebody who complements Maguire's game. But for some reason, Maguire and Lindelof are Ollie's favourite centre-back partnership. And now that Tuanzebe played yesterday, and he particularly didn't have a great game, even though I don't blame him for the mistake that he made. It wasn't his mistake, to be honest, and in the second goal that we conceded. But I don't think that he's going to play. And our left back is probably going to be Luke Shaw. Our right back is probably going to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That's staple, David De Gea in net. The midfield is difficult, but then just because Fred didn't play yesterday, who I believe is the proper CDM, the best CDM we have at the club, because Matic is too slow now. He just ruins the game for us. And then McTominay, he is a centre back, but he's a bit rash. He goes into tackles, he flies into tackles. I don't know how he doesn't injure himself more, but then he's just rash. So Fred will play, and then Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, and yes, like Darius mentioned earlier, that Martial is not performing right now, and he's not. He's always been a hot and cold player. When he's hot, he's really hot, but when he's cold, he's really cold. So I don't know what anybody needs to do in order to bring the consistency out of him. But Rashford's playing fine, and Cavani will play. It's just a matter of who we play on the right wing, to be honest, because Greenwood and Martial both aren't playing really well. Even though Greenwood got a goal against Liverpool and an assist, and it was a beautiful goal because he's so young, and then he's as good with his right foot as he is with his left. But I don't know who will play on the right. Looking at the game, United haven't lost away from home in a calendar year, and this game is away from
well, I
home.
forgot about that. Yeah.
So I don't think that we're going to lose the game, but just because of the result last night, I think that Oli is going to be more. He's going to set up a more defensive team, just not to lose the game, and just build momentum a little more. And if the players choose to turn up, if they don't get their heads down, if they, like I mentioned earlier, take it as a punch to the gut, they might just turn up and blitz past Arsenal, but it won't be easy.
Yeah, that's fair enough, man. Cheers for that. Score predictions for the Arsenal game, and then you got Southampton midweek, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, so just because Lindelof and Maguire will play in net, I think we will concede. So I'll give Arsenal a goal, but I think that United will score 3 goals. So 3-1 United.
Wow, that's bold, man. Fair enough. You know what? Football's crazy. Like, so anything can happen. So, yeah. What about the Southampton game?
I wouldn't want to talk a lot about that game, to be honest, because Arsenal is a better team at the moment, and just because we lost last night.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean bigger than Southampton, probably
Yeah.
not bigger than Southampton for sure. So
Yeah.
so just because of the result last night, I just think that everybody at United needs to focus on the game against Arsenal and not focus on what is after that. Just looking at it briefly, I think that if we manage to get a decent result and a good performance against Arsenal, we are going to basically thrash Southampton. But if it's a 0-0, if it's a boring game, if United can't basically play out the back like they want to, and it's not a good performance, we might struggle against Southampton, but we could probably still win if we don't win against Arsenal.
Yeah, fairs, man. Cheers for that, Kunal. And look at our games. We've got Burnley on Sunday. My thoughts on that really are it's gonna be a tough game because even like Liverpool struggled against Burnley, so they're obviously gonna have the same game plan. So in that sense, we have to get the first win under Tuchel, build some confidence in. I'd like to see Mount and Pulisic play because I thought they changed the game when they came on. Depending on the formation, I wouldn't mind seeing Havertz again because I actually thought he played better than he usually has yesterday. Like I said before, unlucky not to get a goal, the winning goal yesterday. But yeah, I don't know. Giroud was kind of poor yesterday as well against Wolves. So I think I've got to think Werner will start against Burnley just because yeah, we have to get Tuchel to get him playing as well. So we got Kante back in training as well, which is a big plus as well. So yeah, it's just all about confidence, really. Get the first win under Tuchel. So my prediction is I'll probably say 2-0 Chelsea. Yeah, 2-0. And looking ahead to the Spurs game, it's gonna be a tough game because you know what their game plan is gonna be, and like to be fair, over recent times we've had a good record against Spurs. So obviously the picture behind me was Spurs away. So yeah, hopefully we see that, but obviously Tuchel's face. But yeah, it's obviously gonna be a tough game. We have to stop the likes of Kane, Son, Nandu say it. What's his name?
And baller, man.
Him as well. Yeah, they're like, even I hate to say it, they're a decent team at the moment, and we shouldn't take this game lightly. So score prediction, I'm actually going to go for. Well, we kind of drew a big result against a big team, so I'll probably say 1-0 Chelsea, I think. And yeah, guys, that wraps up the podcast for today. Darius, thank you so much for coming on, bro. I appreciate that a lot, man.
No worries, thanks
If
for
you're
having
new
me.
around, yeah, man. And if you're new around here, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, Twitter. We're also quite active on Instagram as well, so have a look at our Instagram as well. And yeah, just again, massive shout out to all the key workers out there doing great for this country and stuff. And yeah, yeah. See you later.